Will you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hoorah. Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Councilmember McCafferty.
Here.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Here.
Councilmember Granillo.
Here.
Vice Mayor Perkins is absent. Mayor Miller.
Here.
And our Town Attorney McGuire is present remotely.
Introductions, presentations, and proclamations. Item A, presentation and update regarding Yavapai College presented by Rodney Jenkins, Vice President of Community Relations and Student Development, and Chris, well, I'm not even going to try that one, District Governing Board Member.
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, for those of you who know me, and I know most of you, know I'm not Rodney Jenkins. Rodney apologizes. He sends his regrets. He could not be here tonight, so I'll do my best to stand in for him. I'm accompanied tonight, as you mentioned, by your District 4 Governing Board Member, College Governing Board Member, Chris Kuknio, right behind me here. And with your permission, at the end of my presentation, I'd like to give him a few minutes to address the council.
Sure.
So, am I driving or? Okay, thank you. So I thought I'd start with a few highlights from this year. And some of these highlights we actually embarked upon before the year, but they're starting to come together in a culmination this year. So I know you're aware already that the Governor Ducey, issued a executive order which prevented us from requiring mask testing and vaccination, those kind of things. But given that, we still implemented a robust COVID-19 procedure, a manual that we developed at the college and that we followed. It was led by Dr. Ewell, our finance officer, and our president, Dr. Lisa Ryan. So we opened in the fall, fully opened in the fall, and we're about 70% online, 30% face-to-face. And most of those face-to-faces are in our career and technical campuses where I mean, you can't really do welding online, right? So those kind of classes are face-to-face. Given that, we have experienced no major COVID outbreaks during the pandemic. So the college protocol that we put in place has been holding the line for us. I'm also pleased to report that enrollment is up significantly. And I emphasize that word significantly. We're up 30% over last year, which you would expect, right? Because COVID was remiss. And then we're still 4% over pre-pandemic 2019. And then another highlight is we opened the Verde Valley Skilled Trade Center. And we opened it on time and 100% capacity. All the classes are full in the Verde Valley Skilled Trade Center. Some of that was helped by some of the tuition incentives for enrollment that we rolled out for the fall of this year. We gave a first class free to everyone. So if you're thinking about, brushing up your skill set and you want to take a class, it'll be free for you. You can still enroll. And then on the Verde side, we gave a semester free to get that skilled center up and technical center up and running. And then there's some first semester and first class free options for our kids on this side of the mountain at our career and technical center right here by the airport. But those are, it's not across the board. Those are select classes. We added several new academic programs such as brewery to complement our vinology program, our wine programs, HVAC, residential plumbing, I know I'm going to miss one, construction, and electrical, to name the heavy hitters. There's some smaller gen ed ones also, but those were the bigger ones. We also built, I probably should catch up here, a technical center on the backside of our Performing Arts Center, and that was made possible through a generous donation from a public member. So they built a center where they can build the props and the sets and all those things you enjoy on the stage at the Performing Arts Center. We used to do that outside because there was no room, and we prayed that the weather would allow them to do that. But now they have a facility to build those stage props and so forth for the Performing Arts Center. We embarked on a significant, and I'm going to emphasize that word again, significant expansion of the Regional Economic Development Center, affectionately known as the REDC. We recognize that the workforce needs of our community, of our businesses, and just our ability to produce a non-credited offering to supplement and enhance our credited side of the house. So the REDC is going to go through an expansion. We've applied for a grant to get us started from the EDA, and we hope to hear something by the end of this year on that grant that will allow us to expand. OER is a program that we started earlier this year. It's open educational resources. So if you remember your college days, you went to a class, and I don't know where you went to school, but let's just say it cost $200, and then you were surprised to find out the textbook cost $500. Well, we see that as a barrier to our students. We see that as something that is that we don't want to continue to endorse. We absolutely want our students to be able to get through college at a affordable and lowest cost rate. So OER takes advantage of Common Core licensing and allows the students to download their textbooks for free. We started in the spring, the previous one, and we saved the students $300,000 so far through the fall semester, which is significant. Mm-hmm. We hope to be in the next 3 years about 50% compliant with OER. So half of the courses, half of the college, half of the students will take advantage of those reduced expenses for textbooks. You all know that, I hope you know that the governor signed SB 1453, which allows community colleges to deliver 4-year degree, the same accredited 4-year degrees that our 3 universities deliver, same accrediting agency. And we are in the process right now. We've secured permission from our governing board to at least embark on a survey study to determine what the best 4-year degrees are for us to offer for our kids here and for our community. You should see a survey in the short future here. It'll be delivered electronically, asking for the community's input and their feelings about 4-year degree, what they think the first 4-year degree should be. Because I say first because it's not something where we can just snap our fingers and say we have 4-year degrees now. There's a whole process, an accrediting process, and we think that'll take us about 2 years. So we hope to start rolling out 4-year degrees for our community, for our students here in about 2 years. We did all of those things, and some of them I will point out were a little tougher than others, but we did all those things with no increases in taxes and no increases in tuition, which we're very proud of, and we continue to be led by a governing board and a college president, Dr. Lisa Ryan, that are very aware of what our obligations are and our fiscal responsibilities. So the team was led to do all this with no increases in taxes. While this is all going on, we completed a new comprehensive strategic plan that we just rolled out. And I'm going to take you through just the highlights of it. So the strategic plan for the college encompasses several, I'll just call them minor plans. The academic master plan is being rewritten right now. The student affairs, how we retain students for the college, is being rewritten. How we market the college and recruit for the college. And also our foundation, our fundraising and development plan is being rewritten. We also have a technology plan because technology is just short of human capital, payroll, right? Technology can be an extremely expensive for the college. So we have a technology plan that has a rotational replacement of equipment for computers for the kids, for the labs, et cetera. So that plan is being rewritten. And not on this slide is a economic development strategic plan that we're in the process of writing right now. It's part of the expansion of the REDC. So we're not just going to blindly expand the REDC on a whim and a feeling or emotion. We intend to have a strategic plan for Yavapai County, for all the citizens of Yavapai County. And we intend to develop that plan that is fiscally responsible and cutting edge or innovative, if you will, as we go forward and in support of our business community and in support of our communities in general. All these strategic plans, all this planning that we do internally in the college serves to align us and focus our energies on the governing board ends, or what we call priorities this year. The first pillar of our component of our strategic plan is belonging. So as we were developing this plan, we started to recognize that while we may have our faculty and our staff and our community as part of the belonging, we probably needed to enhance our student belonging, because students over the past year and a half through this pandemic, they've had some severe challenges, whether it be financial, whether it be emotional, whether it be educational. They had some severe challenges, and we wanted to enhance that belonging component to better embrace our student community as well as our staff and faculty. The second component is a living wage. We believe very, very strongly that the college should not just be creating, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but not just be creating those $7 an hour jobs. That's not going to help quality of life in Yavapai County. So we want to ensure that we have a program mix that serves the community for all jobs, but also helps our community, our students, find high-paying jobs, high-paying wages, or higher-paying wages, and stay here in Yavapai County, not to educate and then have what we call a brain drain where they leave and go to Phoenix or Dallas or Los Angeles because we don't have those jobs here. So it's a package, both economic development attraction and living wage education. Adult learners, we recognize where we are in Yavapai County, and we recognize that everybody in Yavapai County is not 18, a high school student coming to college. There's a large, large community of adult learners. And we have adult learners that at one time in their life started college. Maybe they took a semester, they took a year, but they never finished. They never got that last certificate, the last degree. And in Arizona, there are 589,000 of these people that didn't finish their degree. They started but never finished. 589,000 in Arizona. Yavapai County, there's 65,000. 65,000 of our community members started college, but for whatever reason, life happens. They got married, they went into service, whatever. They didn't finish college. And we want to try to assist those folks, want to invite them back and help them finish their degree. We've also identified a large misstep, if you will, in our Hispanic community. Our Hispanics, about 58% of the Hispanic community has no college degree. None, never started college. They're not in that adult category that I mentioned earlier. 58%. So we see an opportunity where we can enhance the quality of life for that group, as well as, you've heard the saying, a rising tide raises all boats. Raise the quality of life in Yavapai County as a whole. And then lastly, delivery. You know, college is not what it was when you and I went to college. It's evolving. It's constantly changing. We see more and more online delivery. We see more and more requests for non-traditional 16-week classes. We're evaluating 8-week classes. We're evaluating weekend college. We're evaluating any time, so you don't have to look through a catalog and say, this class 101 is delivered at 5 o'clock on Thursdays. We're evaluating a way to deliver that to our community anytime they want, or anytime outside that standard delivery. So a lot happening on the way we deliver information and education to the community. These slides, belonging, living wage is what I just took you through, so I'm not going to take up all your time and take you through this delivery and so forth. Just going to highlight them for you real quick. And then, with your permission, I'd like to invite Mr. Kuknio up to say a few words, and then I'll come back and answer any questions you might have about the college. Thank you. Chris?
Mayor, Council, I'm Chris Kuknio, and I'm your District 4 representative for Yavapai College. And Mayor, don't feel bad about trying to say my name, because I went back to Hungary about 12 years ago and found out I've been saying it wrong my whole life too. So, just your best shot. I was on the Prescott City Council for 4 years, and I watched all these council races, and one thing we always bring up is economic development. Usually in our campaigns, we want economic development. Well, there's some amazing things going on at Yavapai College that are going to help with that. And, consider us an asset, consider us a partner in doing these kind of things. How many of you have gone through the CTEC Center over by the airport? What? It's absolutely amazing. And you'll walk through this thing. We invite you guys to take a tour of this place. The technology that's in there, the training, the level of training we can give people. They have air traffic control centers that they can do. They have 3D printing. They're going to be doing 3D printing with concrete where they can do a house in 72 hours. That could change a lot of things in our area. And the economic development driver that this man's going to lead is really incredible what he's doing out there in Prescott Valley. But, when we think about where we put Yavapai, you have a center here, you have some in Prescott Valley, you have the main campus in Prescott. Verde Valley is doing culinary schools and vineyards, and we got to all work together when it comes to economic development, and we have the training out there for your people. So I'm not going to take up any more time, but thank you guys, and call me if you need anything. Just give me a buzz, and we can get you in touch with anybody. And our new president, Lisa Ryan, she's amazing. She's really got the driving force to push the college to places it hasn't gone before, making it cheaper. And like he said, we haven't raised taxes.
Yeah, you go.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions on this? In this side, any questions? No. All right. Thank you very much.
Mayor, Council, thank you for your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you for
it.
your presentation. Item B, presentation update from Jeff Frohock as Mark Twain regarding Chino Valley Repertory Community Theater Group.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mark Twain. I am the unofficial mascot of Chino Valley Repertory. We have a event coming up on a date in which a month is going to be expressed that brings pain. It's way too early to speak of it generally, but we're going to do a December production, a holiday variety show. We would like to invite the town council. We would like to invite the town council and whatever members of the town staff that would like to participate in this event on December 11th. We have performances at 2 o'clock and at 4:30, and we would expect you to be at both. Mr. Frohock, the creative director, has come up with a handful of skits, and one of them seems to fit 5 or 50. So if you have 5 volunteers, fine. If you have 50, good for you, good for us. So with that in mind, December 11th, 2 o'clock, 4:30, tickets will be $10 for grown-ups. You must act like an adult, and $5 for children. You are not encouraged to behave like a child for a $5 discount. So, with that in mind, I will leave you to far more important proceedings. Thank you for your kind attention, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Oh, and by the way, we have the crude elements of a website now. You can find us at ChinoValleyRepertory.com. Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Twain. Item C, presentation presentation and update on status of the dog park and future disc golf course at Community Center Park. Mr. Bruner.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to give you an update on a couple major projects we're working on and some other events within community services. Before I do that, I want to give a shout out to the Utilities Department and helping us get a drinking fountain in Memory Park. They were understaffed. They got it in before territorial days, and they put a lot of effort into that. And you can say, well, a fountain's a fountain, but that is the first operational drinking fountain in Memory Park in over 25 years. Now, this drinking fountain has a lot of features on it, and my favorite feature is the dog fountain. And so now our four-legged friends can find refreshment as well. So speaking of the dogs, let's go ahead and move on to the dog park and a couple items that we're working on. And we have a laundry list of requests that our citizens have asked us to improve on the dog park. And the number one request was a better surface. And we are able to accomplish that in March. We got some decomposed granite, and a kind citizen volunteered their help to spread that out. We certainly appreciate that volunteerism. And so we have that new surface down there, and it's a lot more, it's a lot better for the dogs. So we accomplished that. But the second most requested item is some type of shade structure. And so there you see is we're currently putting in a ramada in the dog park. It's very close to this. There'll be a few modifications because there are dogs. And the permit's been accepted, and so you'll be seeing that going in the next several months. Now I'd like to turn my attention to a 9-disc golf course. There is a site plan back in the 70s. This was referred to as a Frisbee course. We don't call it that now. We call it a disc course. This is at the Community Center Park. It is east of Field 5 and west of the dog park. Runs along Perkinsville Road. This is a beautifully landscaped area, and it's used as a walking path, and it still can be and still will be. But we're going to utilize that space a little more and put in a 9-disc course there. There is the disc course layout, and I want to point out that Vice Mayor Perkins had rightful concerns about holes number 8 and 9 running along that very busy Perkinsville Road. We took that into consideration, but after I talked with her, I went back and we tweaked it a little more. It doesn't quite show it on this particular layout, but it will when the baskets are put in. Now, if it does become a safety issue, we're going to monitor it, and if it becomes a safety issue, we will put in an 803-foot, 9-foot high, or a 6-foot high, 803 feet fence with 2 gates on it. So we'll monitor that for now, and so that is what we're up to on that end of it. And let's see, we just finished the grinder last weekend. That was very successful. No hitches on that. We started tearing out the old playground equipment in Community Center Park, and the new equipment, because of safety concerns and issues, because the playground equipment was wore out, the new playground equipment will be going in there very soon. They started again, like I said, today. And our next event, Halloween. And so this year, we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're going to do a few things differently, and just be looking for that when we release the times and the day. So thank you very much, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, call the public.
Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Individuals who wish to speak, please state your first and last name and if you reside in Chino Valley town limits. First I have is Larry Holt.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Good evening.
I don't get to give you a good report tonight saying how well the 9/11 went, but I think many of you know. I do live here in Chino. Got to remember that. About 2 years ago, I came before the council regarding a large apartment complex that was being proposed off of Road 1, Road 2 North area. And I remember at that time, Councilmember Mendoza said, when you move into a community, make sure you know what you're moving into and that areas haven't been rezoned around you so that you won't be surprised when it comes up that the area that you near your neighborhood has been rezoned prior to you moving there. We know the area we moved into. We know what it was zoned for. We got 1 acre minimum because we like animals, horses, things like that, and we wanted that rural feel. The town's own mission statement and vision statements talk about maintaining that rural feel. But in the time I've lived here, I've gone to a lot of planning and zoning meetings and a lot of council meetings, and I have seen one project ever that was submitted to the council for disapproval. And I don't know what's going on with planning and zoning, but it seems like every major project coming in for development is being rubber stamped, and council's going to have to be the bad guys on everything. And I don't think that's what planning and zoning is meant for. I think they're supposed to review things, and if they don't meet our councils or our guidelines, then they're supposed to reject it or submit it to you for rejection. Not rubber stamping everything and making you guys be the bad guys when one comes up. There's going to be one coming up tonight. I'm not here to speak about that, but I will say, as usual, I'm opposed anytime we start going to smaller splits on our lots. But what I really like the council to do is step back and think, who has priority here? Is it the big money developers from coming out of town, out of state, or is it the people that are living here? Whose priorities come first? Because we moved into our neighborhoods thinking this is where we wanted to live and this is where it was zoned. We looked at the neighborhood, we saw that. When these developers are buying land and these lots, they know what it's zoned for. They know if it's zoned for 1 acre minimum. Why should they get to come in and change our way of living so that they can make more money? And that's all I have to say tonight, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Scott Freitag. Is that right?
Freitag.
Freitag. Dang it, sorry.
Kind of like Kuknier.
Mayor and Council, thank you for your time. I'm Scott Freitag, Fire Chief with the Central Arizona Fire Medical Authority. I'm here tonight to give you a brief update on the ambulance transport challenges that we face. I've shared with Mayor Miller and the town manager some of the information that we've had and asked them to provide that to you, but had the opportunity to come here tonight. So the first thing I'd like to point out is since PRCC started tracking the data August 2nd through this morning, AMR has been at level 0 368 times. Level 0 is 0 ambulances available for any type of transport. It is rare that there's ever an ambulance in this community. It's usually coming from somewhere else. And normally they're not able to muster more than 3 to 4 ambulances a day for the entire Quad City area. CAFMA's jurisdiction is 369 square miles with 107,000 residents. Between us and Prescott, there's over 150,000 residents and 420 square miles. 3 or 4 ambulances doesn't cut it. In the last couple of weeks, Prescott Fire Department has transported 2 critical patients in the patient's personal vehicle, treating in the back seat, one with a police escort because they could not get transport. YRMC has had to use the helicopter to get patients transferred between their own facilities because they can't get an ambulance transport and the company's telling them 12-hour ETA. We have also transported in engines and in private vehicles. Since then, we have acquired what we call rescues. They look a lot like ambulances, but under state statute, we can't call them that. So we call them rescues. Two of them say Mesa Fire Department on the side, one says Northwest Fire, and one says CAFMA. Those are on loan because of the situation up here. We're operating within state statute to transport patients when medically necessary, and we just received a protocol today from YRMC that says you will transport any time that AMR is more than 30 minutes out, and typically right now we're getting up to hour response times. I would like to point out that we just received the 5th notice of investigation from the state of Arizona into CAFMA's transport. In this investigation, there are 15 complaints that are alleged, and I'll read just briefly the bold comments. CAFMA inappropriately transported a patient when it was not medically necessary. The first one listed is an 8-month-old child who was in cardiac arrest here in Chino Valley. The only reason that child survived with no deficits is because we treated and transported rapidly to a landing zone where we had a helicopter. 8 of the 15 in here are in your community of the complaints. Every one of them was reviewed by our medical control physician today, and every one of them he determined needed rapid transport to the hospital because they were a critical patient that needed definitive care. I've had conversations with the governor's office today as well as the Bureau, and they are not happy with our protocol from the hospital. We have advised them that we're not happy with them. So we will continue to transport patients because patient care is our number one priority. If you'd like me to come back at another time and provide a more in-depth presentation, I'd be happy to do that, but I know I'm out of time now.
Okay.
So thank you.
I think,
Thank you.
I don't know who I tell, but we should probably get this at a study session.
Agreed.
If you could make a note for the city manager.
I'll make that work. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
I do not have any other speaker comment cards. Was there anybody else that did not fill one out that would like to speak for call to the public?
Okay, seeing them, we'll go on. Excuse me. Current events and summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor and council member or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events if listed below. There may be also a presentation on information requested by the mayor and council, and questions may be answered. No action will be taken. One thing I wanted to cover real quick was the format that the council received on the land split was very in-depth. Do you guys like the big one like that, or would you prefer a condensed version? This is where you guys talk.
Good with the condensed version.
I'm sorry?
Condensed version.
Okay.
Condensed version.
Condensed, long?
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right, you got that? Yeah, all right, thank you. Anything on this side?
Just one thing that has to do with Yavapai. One of our local students just got a full offer acceptance for the Yavapai soccer team, the men's, from our high school.
How about over here?
Nothing here.
Nothing here.
Nothing.
All right. And the town manager, is she here by via phone? Does she, Cindy,
She
do you have
is.
anything?
No, Mayor, nothing for me.
Thank you. She sounds kind of puny, huh? All right, consent agenda. All those items listed below are to be considered routine and may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Does anyone on this side have anything they want to move? Anyone on this side?
No.
Nothing.
I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept consent agenda items 5A and B.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Action item. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public and no action may be taken, in executive session. Madam Clerk.
Would anybody like to remove an item for executive session?
No.
No.
I just want to remind individuals that you are limited to speak for 3 minutes and that the total time for each public hearing item may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Please try and refrain from repeating the same information as before you.
All right,
Will. Sorry, go ahead.
item 6A, were you done? Yep, nope, yes.
No, maybe?
6A, public hearing and consideration and possible action to approve ordinance number 2021-906 to rezone approximately 12.78 acres of real property from SR1, single-family residential, 1 acre minimum, to SR 0.16 with a PAD, planned area development, to develop 20 half-acre lots, parcels 30621-011E. Applicant is Rosie Soto. Hope I said that right. Okay, good.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. As read, the item before you is a rezoning request to develop 20 half-acre lots with a planned area development. This is the first leg of the development process. If the item is approved, the next step would be to submit for preliminary plat, which will come before the council again. The applicant for this project is in attendance this evening. The almost 13-acre parcel outlined in blue is located approximately 500 feet west of the intersection of West Center Street and Road 1 West. In the general area, you have 4 1-acre lot subdivisions, a mobile home park to the south, and a predominant area of development through land splits. There is City of Prescott water and Town of Chino Valley sewer within Center Street. The applicant's proposal of half-acre lot subdivision is in conformance with the medium density residential designation of the general plan. However, it would be the first half-acre development in the immediate area. An important item to note is that since this item is a planned area development, the development is tied to what has been proposed tonight. The lot sizes are restricted to 0.51 of an acre minimum. If the applicant does desire to change this to smaller lots in the future, it would have to come through the public hearing process and before council again, like it is tonight. So this type of proposal does require a conceptual development plan that is attached to the rezoning itself. The 20-lot proposal centers around a loop road with open space and community amenities to the north end of the property. This road layout offers paved access to not only the development, but also the existing 9 lots to the west and the existing 12-acre parcel to the east. The applicant will be connecting all lots to City of Prescott water and Town of Chino Valley sewer. The applicant will also be constructing sidewalks within the development as well. Again, since this is a planned area development, any substantial deviations to this plan before you tonight will result in the applicant having to come back through the public hearing process. The Planning and Zoning Commission hearing was held on September 7th, 2021. Several members of the community who were in opposition of the project were in attendance. The commission voted to forward a recommendation of approval to Town Council 4-2. With that being said, the Planning and Zoning Commission forwards a recommendation of approval to Town Council of the rezoning from the SR1 zoning district to the SR 0.16 zoning district with a planned area development, subject to the conditions shown in attachment A of the staff report. In addition to this, staff is recommending an additional stipulation that was not presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission. This is a result of public comment that has been received by staff since that meeting, as well as letters. So with that being said, staff is also recommending that once the town establishes the half-acre zoning district that is currently within the works, the applicant will apply to rezone her property to the new half-acre zoning district, making it a true half-acre development. And with that, I will open it up to questions or discussion from council.
Questions over here?
No.
Wasn't there a couple parcels in the back that needed septic and?
So that was the original proposal, and through discussion with the applicant as well as town engineering, we're fairly confident that we can get them all on town sewer. I can have Frank Marbury elaborate on that further if you would like.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Yeah, due to grades, it's a question of whether some of the back lots would gravity feed to a traditional sewer. Our code does have provisions in it for low-pressure sewer systems. Personally, engineering-wise, it's introducing a mechanical element into a sewer system that has maintenance and mechanical failures associated with it, but it is in the code. So, as staff, I would recommend that procedure if you can't gravity feed. But septics would be another alternative as opposed to introducing a low pressure system if we couldn't get grade. It's still undecided with some of the grades through there if it'll actually work, because once you start raising grade for sewer, you're battling the northerly drainage flow. So it's an engineering shell game, basically. So is that clear as mud?
Yep. Worked for me. Thanks.
No questions. So we're leaving a 1 acre minimum and letting her go to 0.16 so that someday in the future when it goes through, she can come back up and rezone to half acre?
So the only vessel that the town code has right now in order to develop half-acre lots is to go to the 0.16 with a planned area development. Staff is currently in the works for a text amendment to create that true zoning district of half-acre minimum. It's just not in that point to be implemented yet. We've had a conversation with the applicant that she is on board to rezone to remove that 0.16 essential prefix. Even though with the PAD in place on this rezoning, it acts as half acres, if that makes sense.
Okay, so we're still gonna come down from an area that's predominantly 1 acre minimum and allow 0.16 to sometime in the future come up to 0.5?
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
Hold that down.
Yeah.
Well, in anticipation of it coming up, because I read some letters.
Sure.
On the UDO for the 0.16 acre, when we did that we created that lot, because it wasn't there before, was it? That's relatively new to the town.
The 0.16
Yeah.
zoning, it's been there since I've been here for about
Okay, so
3 years.
But why is there a specific language that says the intent is not to do that development? Because it seems like people are it's getting ambiguous about, you're saying you're not going to do it in your text, but yet here you are doing it. Are you familiar with the language I'm talking
I am
about?
absolutely familiar. Yeah.
So I was wondering, can you elaborate and clarify that for me and for everybody else that's listening?
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot. It's within our code. I don't know when that was
Excuse me, Will.
established.
I don't know where these comments are coming from over here,
Hold them down.
but you'll have your turn to speak shortly. In the meantime, please be quiet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So it was established within our code prior to me starting with the town. I have not found a history within that. So it's within there. Staff has forwarded a recommendation of approval for this because they're not creating 7,000 square foot lots.
And these, what is it, half acre, like?
Correct,
20,
yeah,
21?
0.51. Yeah, roughly 21 and change thousand square
All right.
feet.
All right. So the point, that level of, is the only available option, because the next one from that is,
Is 1 acre.
SR1.
Correct, yes.
and then in the future, we're gonna have more zoning districts that it'll be, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, keep going. I had another question, but I
Go.
forgot it.
Oh, it's gone?
It went in and it went out. I'm good.
Anything else come up with anybody here? Okay, well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're gonna open a public hearing now.
Doug.
And those that wish to speak are more than welcome to come up at one at a time, and we ask that it's again 3 minutes, and please try not to beat the same horse, if you will. Who would like to come up
Well-
first? Oh,
We need to
Miss-
make a motion, don't we?
no, I can just say we're gonna open it.
Oh, okay.
That's correct. And Mr. Mayor, I actually have comment cards in order of people that have filled them out. So
Oh,
if you'd like
okay.
me to call them in order.
Sure. I didn't
Uh,
realize you did that,
I
sorry.
did. Ms. Tutabene, I'll start with you.
I wrote a letter signed. Hello, my name is Sandy Tutabeni, and I live on Lauren Lane. In the development, we're adjacent behind the planned development. So my,
1 second, Lord. Can you bring up the map, please?
it's the Mesa View Estates we live in.
I know where Mesa View is.
That one back
That one
other.
work? This one?
One more.
That's it. See Mesa View? It looks
Okay.
like a U with a
Thank you.
appendage.
Sorry I
you.
interrupted you.
No problem. Okay, as we know, the intent of the subdivision regulation is to provide procedures consistent with our state law that promote our general welfare. In our UDO 5.0, I went through the intent of each one of those subdivision intents. Number 1, the ordinance, and we just went over it, the 0.16, is that was put in 2015, and it's the intent of the town not to create any more of those. However, it's occurred over and over. Number 2, the half-acre lots, if approved, ensure that supposed to ensure the town has its natural scenic attributes. I don't believe this is going to happen because we're not protecting the existing large lots and the low density we currently have. And it's already reported that this will be the first half-acre lot development we have in the actual area we live in. Number 3, if this is approved, will it encourage a pleasant environment and be harmonious with the special character of our town? As noted above, these are half-acre developments. And the developer is planning on creating large homes with garages and RV garages on the same site along with the road, which will take up part of the half-acre. So I think 60 to 75% of the half-acre is going to be occupied with things: roads, sidewalk, house, RV garage, garage, and house. That's not appropriate. That's not harmonious. Number 4, will it be safe for vehicular process? The answer to that is no. It creates this funky loop. And yes, it feeds the first 12 acres to its left. And that's because that was the first 12 acres of this 36-acre phenomenon. So yeah, let's help those people that live over there. But if you'll notice, they have 2 and 3 acre lots, but the roads will feed to that. In addition, it'll have 1 entrance and 1 exit, not appropriate. It's going to create a lot of traffic on Center with all this activity going on for 20 new homes. And I know it's not listed here, and I'm just going to say it out loud. The developer owns the other 12 acres to the right of it. So once you all approve this, you're giving away another 20 homes, because once you give them a stamp of approval, they'll do it again. So we're not really talking 20 here, we're talking 40. Number 5, if this is approved, will it assure adequate provision to all the property for water, sewer, and other utilities? Well, we already got that answer. It's fairly confident we can do it, but maybe not. But we can add some sort of pumping system, and hell, we'll just put in another septic tank. Not appropriate. The slope's bad. It's a drainage hole. We all know where the water goes. We're here during the monsoons. That's the location. Number F, last one. If this is approved, will it be adequate for a recreation space? Yes, she created a new 1.5 acre area in the back, but because of the angulation and all, there's no parking. So yes, let's hear it for another HOA. They'll keep it up. It's going to be a dog park. It's going to be vacant land. No one can get to that because there's no parking because the road goes around it. Either you walk there from your little house or you don't go at all.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Tutibeni, the time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Alex Harris.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I oppose this for a whole bunch of different reasons. I filed today a number of petitions against this proposal. But let me take you off to the side for just a moment. This has come to you from Planning and Zoning. Planning and Zoning has a task. The task is to support the town code and the Unified Development Ordinance. Planning and Zoning has failed you. It's failed us. It's failed all of us because they're not supporting what we, you, us, the community has implemented. This proposal, just like, I think it's Sandy said, is going to lead to that next 20. I was here a long time ago, whenever it was, and I said, you approve this 20, you're going to be looking at the next 20. And then you're going to be looking at it every time you look at a parcel of land in this community has given a direction. The council needs to hear that direction. It also needs to hear that our Planning and Zoning Commission is not following their task. And for them to approve everything and shove it up to you guys is wrong. My name's Alex Harris. I'm an attorney. I live at 1350 West Center Street here in Chino, and I love Chino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kathy Middlestead.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm at a loss for words. I'm going to speak to something that I'm not prepared to speak for. I've been a project manager for a major city in California where projects came to me that I presented to a city council and a planning commission for approval or denial. And I am at a loss for this planning commission, not for the town council here, but I'm at a loss that I live in a town where our planning and zoning commission has got a project and we don't have a half-acre zone. We don't have anything we can fit this project in. So let's just pick an SR 0.16 where it says, and I'll read it to you because it's right here out of your UDO. It says the purpose of this district is to allow for the regulation, development, and redevelopment of existing 7,000 square foot residential lots. It is not the intention of the town to create any new SR 0.16 zoned property. So let me get this straight. We're not creating 7,000 square foot lots. We're creating half-acre lots. Maybe if they want to come back and lower this to lower than half-acre lots, we're going to think about that in the future. But now it's going against your UDO because it says it's not the intent of the town to create any of these, but we're not updating the UDO to allow for it. Well, we don't have any half-acre lots, so let's just finagle our code to allow for this. Let's pass it through the zoning, pass it on to the town council, get this approved, and then, oh yeah, now that we can kind of create a half-acre zone of 22,000 acres and then have this applicant come back. Let me ask you something, and I'll come back to, hopefully I've got 50 seconds left. I sent you all a letter, and if you look at that letter, the density doesn't fit this. Let's say they come back with their 38 acres. Let's say they want to come back and do let's say a developer wants to build less than half acres and put 2 or 3 residences on that. It's not going to fit medium density. And if you look at your chapter 154 in your UDO, anything less than 2 acres, your 2 acres is low density, your 1.6 and 1 acre is medium density. Your UDO right here at this 0.16 does not indicate what density this is. It is not identified at medium density. So when your planners tell you this is identified at medium density because your zoning map says less than 2 acres is medium density, that's BS. And when your medium density on the zoning map says less than 2 acres, does that mean all the way down to nothing is medium density? I don't think so.
Next is Tanya Hebel.
Yes, I live in Mesa View South also. And I already sent a letter. Everybody probably already has that. Just my main thing on top of that is, why do we have the meetings for pre-meetings for that are close to it, zoning meetings, then town council, and it still goes through anyway? And I would like, the zoning committee to take some responsibility for it and not keep forwarding to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Terry Kiner?
Good evening. I'm Terry Kinner. I live in Mesa View South. My only question is, if you're going to do half-acre parcels, how are you going to pay for the improvement to the streets? Anybody who used that during the detour knows that that road needs a lot of work with just current traffic. And that intersection is just very difficult to turn on. And now you're going to just increase the problem, and you don't have a method of the developer paying for those improvements. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Sorry, I was writing.
Next up, Susan Westwell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Susan Westwell, and I live just opposite this development, 211 North Road 1 West. And when I just look over, I mean, there's a reason I love living in Chino Valley, and it's the land. And I look over there, and I think I know how low that land is. And I think it's also, I just agree with what they're saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Then we have Tony Tolinar.
Well, we just, I live with Susan. We live at 211 North Road 1 West, which is approximately right here.
Okay.
All right, and
Tony, do me a favor and talk in the microphone, please.
yeah, I will. Oh,
Because
you're
when
talking?
you
Okay.
it's me talking.
All right.
It just so the people at home, they can't hear you when you go.
Oh,
over there.
okay. We live there. I've been there about 13 years. Moved to Tucson, Arizona. I lived there for 28 years. I moved up here because I like the small community and the lifestyle we have up here. Now, what I don't understand is if you've driven down my road there on North Road 1 West, it's a pit out of hell, the road there. People walk their horses there. People ride their bicycles there. People walk there. But the traffic is just unbelievable. I mean, they go, it says, 35 miles an hour, and I guarantee you nobody does 35 miles an hour down there. I have a real beauty site across, and I got no problem with somebody making money. And they're building that acre lot up there. So the way I understand it, and I just found out this the other day, they're going to build half-acre lots, and they're going to bring all that traffic coming around, come to that four-way stop, you know. It's just not going to work. It's just going to be, people are going to be trying to come out that entrance. And they're right. They're going to develop that, and then they're going to turn around by that other 12-acre lot, and they're going to put another 24 homes there. Where does it stop? I mean, do we want that kind of lifestyle up here? If you want that lifestyle, move to Phoenix, move to Tucson. There's cities out there, guys, you know. So naturally, I just found out about it, don't have a lot of knowledge about it. I'm sure they're going to be nice homes, you know, but the traffic's going to be terrible. It's taking away my view, so I'm kind of selfish about that. I don't know. I mean, we need sidewalks on that road. We need the road developed. We need it wider. I mean, it's like putting the cart in front of the horse. I mean, let's fix what we have, and then let's invite people in. But I'll never be for half acres. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the speaker cards that I have. Was there anybody else that wanted to speak that did not fill one out? I can get you to come fill one out for me real quick, and then we can move forward. I just need your name, and then I can fill the rest of it out. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name's Mike Ditta. I'm another Mesa person, my neighborhood. Everything that everybody said, it's true to me. The facts, the traffic, what it looks like. But to me, it's a bigger thing. It's, unfortunately, I came from California. I love it here. I worked for Edison, and I had the privilege of working with a city that was kind of unusual for California. It was Norco, California, Horsetown, USA. And yeah, it grew, but it always had a vision. They would keep that horse style in their community. And they did. I mean, even through the housing boom, they kept their equestrian trails there. They kept their half-acre minimum, which In California, it's kind of a big deal, half acre. They kept it. Even with the brand new houses coming in, brand new ones, equestrian, half acre, that was their vision. Now, of course, the town council was run by the Horseman Association, but still, everybody that came there, that's what they came for, even the new blood. And that's kind of what I wish the council here, and especially the planning commission, would think about. What is it going to do for the town? I mean, I think you all know that taxes for housing is minimal. Taxing for commercial, that's where you get the bucks. But you keep putting in these small acre lots, all it's going to do is diminish the value of the big houses, the big lots that you currently have. So what I'm asking now is not just this one, but why doesn't everybody get a vision of what Chino is supposed to be? What I thought it was when I came here. It's supposed to be rural. Doesn't mean we don't grow. Far from it. We have a lot of land to grow. But let's do it smart, not let these low, small acres come in. I came from Riverside, and we used to have orange groves there. One thing that the city did was when they developed the orange groves, they minimized it at 1/2 acre as the minimum. Then it was 1 and 1.5 and 2 acres, the farther it went up in the groves. And it kept it really nice. You go down in the city, it was a house on house. If somebody did something in the bathroom on one house, the other house felt it right away. This is not what I really want here. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody said was, I agree with traffic, yeah. But really, let's get a vision and stick with it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Will, could you come back up, please?
Mr. Mayor, I also have some letters that have been submitted.
Oh, sorry, Will, sit
filed
down.
with the clerk's office.
Never mind, Will.
I will let you know that I have 8 identical letters. I'm just going to read who they've been submitted by and read one letter, but they are 8 identical. Barbara Laster, Dwayne Laster, Deborah Clare, Ruth Esty, Marie Bernardo, Roberta Larson, Deborah Fry, Kevin McCarthy. This proposed rezoning does not serve the best interest of the public, nor does it secure the safety from fire, panic, and other dangers, or lessen congestion in the streets, or prevent the overcrowding of land, nor does it prevent concentration of population. This proposed rezoning is just the first step in attempting to convert the second 12.78 acres into similar usage, which would continue to create congestion, overusage of the land, concentration of population. Chino Valley has a general plan and the Unified Development Ordinance to protect the philosophy and intent of the town of Chino Valley. This proposed rezoning violates the principle and purpose of the town's plan. Based on all the above, I or we oppose this proposed rezoning, protest the proposed rezoning, and request a public hearing on the proposed rezoning. That is all I have. Thank you.
Okay, now Will, please. Well, I kind of wrote down the highlights of their, the complaints. I mean, I didn't get all of them, of course, but at first there was a complaint of protection of larger lots, which I guess they're talking about property values.
Absolutely. Talk on that a little bit as
Sure.
far as, so I'm not a real estate expert or anything as far as values of property. As far as the protection of the 1 acre lots, there is absolutely verbiage within our general plan that talks about that. The decision as far as staff support for this is how the land use designation map for this area, and quite frankly, all of the residential area within Chino Valley is denoted as medium density residential, 2 acres or less. Our general plan, again, quite frankly, is lacking in that regard for differentiation between zoning characteristics. So staff has to implement what we've been given. So that's where our determination is as far as why the support has been provided.
Okay, and the next thing was the half acre lots on this 12 acres. The probability of the next one next to it, the owner owns.
I do not.
Okay.
From my understanding, the applicant is under escrow on the middle one that's before you tonight. This rezoning is approval is a condition based on closing. So in order to close, this would have to be granted.
Okay, and then the half acre with the roads out, is that correct? Are they having a full half acre on their property, or is it minus right-of-ways?
So the roads will be private within the development itself.
And then can you also address, they said one way in, one way out?
So the road is a two-way road. So each point of exit is going to be an entry and an exit, an entry and exit. They're not one-way roads. Under the current proposal, there is an existing 50-foot easement that travels along the property line between the center parcel and the western parcel, and then again on the eastern parcel and the center parcel. So since this is a private road, it is still maintained or retained ownership under the property. Just like many of the other lots within Chino Valley, they contain the easement in which they access their property, and this will function exactly the same way.
My question is the square footage of the lot still at a half acre, or is it less?
Correct, because the easement, private road is
So
contained.
it is including the road?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And then why doesn't the town have zoning for less than 1 acre other than the 1.6? Or 0.16, excuse me.
As far as why other staff has not implemented that, I cannot tell you, but I can assure you that under the new director, Lori Lineberry, that we do have directive forward to create the half acre zoning, as well as any other directive council sees as far as new zoning districts. So we're absolutely open to that.
Okay, and then along with that is I don't understand how we can approve a half acre zoning when we're calling it a 0.16, excuse me, I keep on getting the point wrong.
No, absolutely. So within you're speaking specifically to the verbiage within the 0.16 zoning. It's not the
So we
town's.
have 1 acre or 1.6?
Correct. That is our lower end of our zoning districts for residential. The only vessel that we have that in prior projects that we've taken before council to create the half acre zoning is that 0.16 with the planned area development. That PAD ties it specifically to the half acre. That's it.
Okay, and then the payment of improvements and detours?
That I can't speak on at this point because this is just the entitlement conversation. All of that as far as improvements, detours, anything like that is hashed out in the technical review portion of this project.
And then is this a drainage area?
I can let Frank speak on that.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Sure.
Let me see. And does this include sidewalks along the Center Street side?
I'll let Frank speak to that as far as the
Okay.
general plan there.
And then traffic, we'll let Frank talk about as well. And then there was one other thing. I'll ask Frank that question too. Okay?
All righty.
Thank you, sir. Frank, please. Can you talk about the drainage first?
Sure. The natural drainage for this project flows from south to north and a little bit from west to east.
Okay, does it go through this proposed deal? Are they going to lift it up to stop the drainage or divert water or what?
I'm not sure of the question because
They made it sound like there was a natural drainage that runs through the middle of this
the
subdivision.
natural flow of the water flows through there. Are you talking like a ditch or?
Yeah, well, just a natural drainage, like
That-
cemetery watershed, if you will.
Well, to me, drainage is the natural flow of the water. So I think I'm getting confused on the terms. There is no defined
There's no big
wash
drainage.
or anything like that, like the Santa Cruz wash or the cemetery draw. This is area subject to sheet flow.
Okay, and
is the best way to describe the
Oh, sure.
drainage.
No, everything in Chino's subject to sheet flow.
Right.
Everything.
And this will have a drainage report associated with it in the technical review to accommodate the natural and historic drainage. But I would have to refer back to our area drainage studies to confirm this, but I'm not aware of the drainage in this area having inundation of, say, more than a foot or so, like some of our studies show. And
Okay, then
other
sidewalks on Center Street.
sidewalks on Center Street, that comes down to Center Street, whether it's rural arterial or urban arterial. Typically at 1 acre zoning, you don't include sidewalks on rural arterials.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Typically, the section in the UDO for rural arterials does not have sidewalks. It's just a 2-lane road like most of Chino Valley.
Mm-hmm.
The urban section does have sidewalks.
So our half-acre lots, is it just where it is in Chino Valley that denotes
The
rural
code
from
does
urban?
the code does not define where rural and urban is at this time. That's a good area to maybe look at.
And then the sewer issue would just be if it doesn't drain, we'd have to put in a lift station, correct? Or a little.
Or individual grinder pumps and low pressure system is the other
And
alternative.
that would fall back on the developer? Or,
Yeah, for
okay.
the last few lots,
And
or if council sees fit.
Okay,
to
and the
allow
last thing is
septics.
traffic, increased traffic. Have we done any traffic studies?
Not yet at this time. For 20 lots, you're looking at 10 trips a day. So 200 trips a day shouldn't be a traffic wise. It's not a major impact from a engineering standpoint compared to what's out there. It's 20 more homes than what's out there now.
10 trips a day, that's one car per.
When you look at trip generation numbers for engineering and levels of traffic, a single family home is approximately 10 trips per day.
10 trips per day, one car.
One car.
Most households have 2.5 cars.
Well, it's not quite that simple. You have deliveries to the houses, trash pickups, those sorts of trips too. So people come and go from their house a couple times, and these are a lot more smarter engineers develop. We've got nationally recognized manuals for those trip generation numbers that or the national standards is how we come up with the 10. Apartments are slightly less because there's some less deliveries or trash pickups. But when you figure the 10 trips, that's the trips in and out generated by that household. So it's not necessarily just the cars there. You will have, like I said, garbage, school buses, service vehicles, appliance delivery, those sorts of traffic items that are included in those 10 per day.
Anybody have anything for Frank? What do you see?
Not for, well, maybe for Frank. The turn radius of this loop that they want to put in down there as far as fire trucks, school buses?
It will be designed to fit.
Okay, so
turn
it has
radius.
to fit, and that'll be in what, technical review along with the traffic and the
Right.
drainage and all that?
Yeah, that's the easy part.
Yep.
John? Please?
Questions, comments?
Yeah, not yet. I haven't closed the public comment portion.
I do have a question, but more of a development planning idea. So I don't know if you want to speak to it or him.
We'll start with Will. Thank you, Frank.
Sir.
Will, the last question I have is, are we setting precedents for future divisions of property into half-acre lots? If we allow this one, what's to stop from the next one next door going and the next one after that and right on down the street?
Honestly, absolutely nothing.
I'm sorry?
No, absolutely nothing. It's not necessarily setting a precedent because we have had half-acre lots west side of State Route 89 be approved by council in the past. So that precedent essentially has been set. But going forward, if council finds in favor of this zoning item, likely can be carried to the next lot to the west or the east.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? John?
I know we're in the process here in the near future, updating the general plan. So, but looking at it from a development model style.
Sure.
Using 2 North and let's say 89A is our central business district, our hub. And as you go out, we heard somebody talk, you get bigger in zoning. In the future, looking 15 years down the road, where would this project fall within that? Usually you get tighter. Most developed towns across the country, the model is the closer to the central business district you are, the higher the zoning or the higher the density. And as you go out in a circular pattern, it usually gets less and less. Looking at the plan, if I know you haven't have it down, 10 years, 15 years, where will this be? Will that fall within a 2-mile radius of that area?
As far as within the distance of 89?
Yeah, of our Yeah, and I guess we're looking at the big model because it kind of piggybacks what the mayor's saying, are we setting a precedence? Because what's the nearest half-acre development we have to this proposal?
So the nearest true half acre development would be 2 south over by Damien Loop, but then there is some 0.16 7,000 square foot lots development over by Del Rio to the northeast. So Del Rio Middle School, if you go up the road north, there's 180 acres there that are zoned with a
So
0.16.
by approving this would be another, we would be patchworking. It would, right, the patchwork, like, we'd have 1 acre, 2 acres, patch right here, higher density, patch over here, higher density. It wouldn't be a planned development, would it, for the whole community?
As far as Chino as a whole or
Yeah.
the developers. So that's ultimately your call to make as council to determine whether or not it fits the community. As staff, I can only recommend based
I
on what
understand
code
that.
has.
I understand that.
As far as in the future, 10, 15 years out, that's really up to the citizens of Chino Valley as well as council to determine areas of high development or high density that they see fit and where that is. They don't necessarily have to coincide with 89. They can choose areas of designation for higher density, but it's very subjective to future.
All right, I'm going to close anything else? I'm sorry, before I close.
No.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing now, and I'm going to ask for any comments or questions from the council for anything else.
I'm just going to make the comment that when I look at the area, I look at how far we are from 89 or any other high density like this. I just don't see that it fits where it's at this time.
You got anything, Eric?
Not. No. I don't.
Nope.
John,
All
I
right.
got a little bit on just the verbiage out of the general plan and the UDO and that chapter 3 about the 0.16. I look at, I think it's appendix or whatever, attachment C with all the larger properties surrounding this. And the predominant half-acre lots are on the east side of the highway, not over here. I don't think it fits.
John, you done?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Ready?
Motion time, yes, sir?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion in denial of the ordinance number, of changing the ordinance number 2021-206 to rezone approximately 12.78 acres of real property from SR1, single-family residential 1 acre minimum, to SR 0.16 with a PAD planned area development to develop 20 half-acre lots with the stipulations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and second to deny. All in favor of denial, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion fails.
Mayor Miller,
Okay.
Mayor Miller, can I actually confirm that the motion to deny carried? Did not fail.
Okay, the motion to deny carries.
Thank you.
Passed. The denial passed.
Thank you.
Pass of the denialiation.
It don't work.
All right. Item B, public hearing, consideration, possible action to approve ordinance number 2021-905 regarding a home detention program.
You come to judge.
And if I can intercept for just a moment, I'm going to make a scrivener's error correction to item 6B. I believe on the agenda, it stated resolution. This should be ordinance number 2021-905, which was printed in your packet. Also, in the ordinance, there are 2 minor edits. The first, whereas line should read ARS 9-499.07, and section 2B, the last ARS, should read ARS 9-499.07.
It does, right? The second one you read is already in there correctly?
I don't believe so. It should be on section 2B, the very last line.
Okay, that's section 2A. I'm sorry. We'll have to go to B. Tell me to turn the page. That'll work. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Judge.
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Mayor, council members.
I am seeking a home detention ordinance approval for the court. This is primarily due to COVID. For those people who are sentenced to jail on a DUI, we cannot use any home detention unless there is an ordinance or unless there is approval by the council, and that is pursuant to Title IX, specifically 499.07.
I'm sorry.
Want me to start over?
No, I think everybody heard it.
Okay. So let me give you a little education. In Arizona, we have 4 layers of DUIs. They are what I call a baby DUI, and then you have an 08 with a blood alcohol. Next up from that becomes a blood alcohol of a 0.15, which is an extreme DUI. And then we have one right above that, which is in excess of a 0.20, which is a super extreme. Once you get into the extreme and the super extreme, you're looking at 30 days and 45 days, respectively, in jail. We can suspend part of that if they do ignition interlock, but they are looking at serving at least 9 days in jail, possibly 30, possibly 45. We cannot do work release from jail, which means if you have to serve that entire time, you're going to lose your job, you're going to not be able to take care of your family, and it does pose a hardship on people. So as an alternative, if we can do a home detention program, then at least we can accomplish their jail term as well as keeping them gainfully employed.
Okay. Let me see what I got to do here. Okay, we're going to open a public hearing. Do we have any comment cards on this one?
I did not have any submitted. Was there anybody that would like to speak on this item that did not submit a card? Come on up.
Oh, you brought out the retired cop in me. Punishment, penal code, penal relates to punishment. You make the mistake. DUI is not an error. DUI is a choice. You need to serve your time. I'm not saying that work release programs aren't good, but I'd say maybe for a first-time offender on the low end, it might be appropriate. Beyond that, no thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Any other comments? All right, we're going to close the public hearing. Any comments from council?
I have a question for the judge, please.
Okay.
Do you have other experience with this program that you're bringing up?
I have. We have used Scram as a third-party vendor. This is not us implementing it ourselves. It is using an outside agency. So it becomes an ankle monitor that is put on by them. The defendant will actually pay for that cost. It is $13 a day instead of $70 a day for jail. And it also does continuous alcohol monitoring.
Okay, and then as the gentleman was talking about just now, does this relate to, is there any relation to first time, second time, third time of whether this can be implemented?
In Arizona, if you get 3 DUIs within a period of 7 years, the third can be filed as a felony. With a felony, you're looking at 3.75 years in prison. That goes to Superior Court. I am not going to hear that.
Okay.
So that's out. So the penalties do double. They increase significantly depending upon what level of DUI it would be if it is going to be a second offense. Yes, I have sentenced people to 6 months in jail.
I think what he's asking, and Lisa raised a question with me, is if I get a first DUI and you let me do the ankle thing at home, and then I turn around and get a second DUI, is that still going to be an option for me?
Depends if you get it in Chino Valley or if you get it in Prescott.
In Chino Valley, of course.
Yeah.
With us.
So it is an option because if it's there, it is at the discretion of the court and of that sentencing judge.
Okay.
How does the monitor monitor alcohol intake?
How does it exactly work?
Yeah, how does it monitor alcohol intake?
I don't know the specifics
Ankle bracelet
with
monitors
that.
alcohol intake.
No,
So
it
Yes.
does?
Yes.
so then then you would know if they're drinking and driving because their GPS location, and you know if they're drinking because they're not at home, and then they got alcohol in them, so they'd be in violation.
And we get notified within 24 hours if there is a violation.
And that's for the first two, the baby DUI and the first.
No. A baby DUI and an 08 would not qualify for ankle monitor unless there's going to be an additional time in jail. So normally that is 10 days in jail, 9 days suspended. You have to serve 1. Okay? So it's a little simpler with that first offense and that lower DUI. So if it's pled down to that, it is going to be 1 day in jail. There's no alcohol monitor for that. There is no home detention for that. Because with this program and what the statute requires is 20% of your time has to be served in jail. So you are going to do some jail time. You're going to get a taste of it. And generally that's enough to prevent people going back.
So on the home ankle monitor, they would have to stay at home, or they
No,
can go to work.
They can go to work. They can go to school. They can go to medical appointments. They cannot go shopping. They cannot go to the bar. They cannot go anyplace else. But if there is an emergency, that is allowed. To and from school if they're a student, to and from work if they're employed.
And who's monitoring this?
The company,
The third-party company that
third-party company.
$13 a day or
Mhm.
$7 a day.
One moment. Yes, sir. Do you have something to say? If you got something to say, go ahead, Mr. Brown.
I'm Craig Brown, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors and Supervisor for District 4. And I just, talking to the magistrate before she brought this forward and it was on your agenda, I didn't know it was coming up. But in 1993, I started the first electronic monitoring program in Los Angeles. We had over 500 people on electronic monitoring on passive units, which is what she is entertaining here. The passive unit will be basically paid for by the defendant as he's staying at home. The condition the magistrate gives the defendant when to stay on this program is very specific. You can maybe go to work, go to church, depends upon what the magistrate wants to outline as the conditions. That's very, very important. The other important thing is the defendant is paying for the rent of this device to be on their leg. I believe you said it was $12 and $13 and change per day. So that's significant. So they want to participate. They want to get off as soon as possible. And they don't want violations. However, it does allow them to go to school and or go to work during certain hours if that's one of the conditions the magistrate sets. Now, said that this saves $70 per day. When you arrest somebody in Chino Valley and they go to the county jail, you pay nothing. So there's no savings there. And actually, the amount is $110. Right here is an email from the sheriff. And so I just wanted to clear up a couple things in regards to that. You might want to look at this in a little more depth before you jump into it. We started a program in 2010 in the Superior Court level down in Prescott, and we abandoned it by 2013 because it was not working out. And actually, the company admitted there wasn't enough people involved for it to be worthwhile for them to monitor it. So those are things you might want to consider.
All right, thank you. Further comments? Yes, sir.
Magistrate. I'm familiar with the electronic monitoring, having processed those a lot. But this is a third party. Is this also the same third party that the county would utilize?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't want to piggyback on what probation or whoever the county would use?
We could, but right now the county's not using anyone.
None whatsoever, no electronic monitoring at all. And how many cases a year, roughly, plus or minus 10, do you see in the DUI?
Plus or minus 10, I'd give you a 1. We do have a lot of DUIs, but as far as the ones that would qualify for this, we're probably looking at 10 to 12 max.
For a calendar year?
For the year.
Okay. And from your knowledge with the contract, is it subject to landline telephone? Because a lot of our areas might. Is it going to be cell phone?
Computer-based.
Wi-Fi?
It's
all
computer-based.
computer-based. Okay. $13 a day is pretty cheap.
Right now, we have to assess $150 for the first day in jail and $70 for every day thereafter. So yes, the county is still losing money, but the defendant is paying a lot more for that jail. And as I said, it's work release is not an option because of COVID. The jail is not even letting people come and go because obviously once they leave, they can come back and infect everyone else. So that's the hardship.
And this bracelet would take place for work release. You would be allowed to go to work.
Yes, that's the
said
intent.
No shopping, no bars.
No shopping, no playing, no. And that can be as restrictive as the court wants to dictate.
And that's up to you to set those parameters.
So
So
the-
you'll be home at 5 and you won't leave until.
And that's what we do with work release. We will let them a max of 12 hours that they get to go out. So if they leave at 7 o'clock in the AM, they have to be back in jail by 7 PM.
So if they violate that and they have to be reincarcerated, is it the county or our Chino PD that has to effectuate that arrest?
So if we get notification from Scram that there's been a violation, then automatically we contact them. We can issue a warrant for their arrest because they are in violation. They can lose all of their time on the monitor. They can lose part of it. It really depends upon the reason for the violation.
Okay.
So
But
there's
it's
a
the
lot
county
at
police
stake.
that would have to come in and effectuate the pickup.
Depends on where they are.
Okay.
So this company, Scram, they respond or report to you?
They do.
Okay. And the workload is gonna go put on you?
No, not additional workload, no.
Okay.
Not at all.
Have they used it in other towns? that you're aware of?
Scram?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's working successfully?
Yes. And what I like about them is they have an office in Flagstaff and they have an office in Phoenix. Initially, before COVID, they would actually come up, they would meet the defendant at the jail and put on the ankle monitor there. But now, since COVID is still with us, they are not allowed into the jail to do that. So once they exit jail from doing their 20% time, they either go to Flag to have it installed or they go to Phoenix. And so the game plan is within 24 hours of release from jail, you have to get that ankle monitor on.
Or they get re-incarcerated, right? Or put back in
Warrant.
jail.
Right, your choice, yeah.
The rest?
If I'm giving you the choice of having an ankle monitor, it's not whenever you feel like getting it on. It's going to be immediately upon release from jail within 24 hours. And if you fail to do that, then you owe me the rest of the time in jail.
Okay.
What do they charge them, put it on initially?
Their fee, I think they dropped down to $100 as an application fee.
So if we were to approve this, could we set what do they call that, a daylight of it or whatever, where we review it? Say we do this, say we're gonna put it in place for a year, and then review have you report on it and see how it's been doing?
I would defer to the city attorney.
I agree.
Andrew?
Okay.
Happy to answer that one. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you can certainly put a sunset clause on this. You can also just put a regular review request so that when this comes back up next September, that the item is put on the council agenda for consideration. So you either have two ways of doing it. You can put it in the code itself that it has a sunset and then a subject to annual review, or you can just schedule it and review it. Either way will work just fine.
So what would you prefer? To do this in a year or 2 years in order to give it a fair go?
If I had a crystal ball for COVID, I'd probably say 1 year. We could review and see how things are progressing.
So if it wasn't for COVID, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I would be in favor of it. I feel like, especially for first-time offenders, that work release is very important to keep their family intact, have a house for them to live in, and so on. So with especially the COVID situation preventing that, I like the idea.
If everything were to open back up, you wouldn't be using this?
I'd be using it a lot less. So there may be a situation where it might be appropriate. But for the most part, I'm in agreement that if you do the crime, you can do the time. But when you can't do work release and you're having to do jail for 30 days, it means you can't pay your fine, you can't feed your family, you can't take care of your family. And I think that's what we have to be cognizant of and even sensitive to.
Is this for drugs too, or just alcohol?
This would be DUI drugs if you
Drugs,
have that,
anything?
but we don't really see a whole lot of DUI drugs.
Boyce, you got
And
anything?
remember, this is not for a baby DUI or an 08. This is only going to be on an extreme and a super extreme.
How about this side? You guys got any more? Okay.
I'm misunderstood. So this is only going to be extreme and super extreme?
Because,
So the highest
because of the
levels?
nature of the mandatory sentencing.
Okay, and could you, it says here, the home detention electronic monitoring programs have been proven to be successful in other jurisdictions. What other jurisdictions specifically?
You mean municipalities that have it?
Mm-hmm.
Jerome has it, Dewey Humboldt has it, Prescott Valley has it, Cottonwood has it. Prescott does not. And the justice courts are implementing it based upon an ordinance that they found back when Judge Markham was on the bench. And this is only because Title 12 requires it. The court can sentence now, if it's not a DUI and there's going to be jail time, I can use home detention. This is only because of Title 12, which requires it. And I think in some respects, it was also because if you look at some of the municipalities in Phoenix, in Maricopa County, they have their own jail. And so if you create your own program, are you taking money away from the jail, away from the city? In this case, we're not taking money away from anyone here. There's no benefit, there's no burden to Chino Valley at all.
I'm in favor of the 1-year sunset review.
All right, no more further? Can we have a motion, please, Mr. Turner?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-905 regarding a home detention program with a 1-year sunset for review and corrections in the verbiage that was noted by our town clerk.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, consideration, discussion, possible action to approve county entity appointments and council subcommittee appointments. Aaron, do you want to talk? Oh, you are going to talk. You got all my papers.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Got to do lots of
Can we
talking
just share?
tonight. All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Due to the recent resignation of former Vice Mayor Mendoza and the appointment of current Vice Mayor Perkins, there are many vacancies to council subcommittees and entities. You as a council should review the appointments for corrections and/or updates. Mayor Miller would like to review these rosters tonight to give council members an opportunity to volunteer for any vacancy and/or request a change in a position if so desired. So I have up on the screen for you, which you guys should have seen already. These are Mayor Miller's appointments currently: Vice Mayor Perkins, Councilmember Kelly, Councilmember Granillo, Councilmember Turner, Councilmember Armstrong, and Councilmember McCafferty. So your areas here show exactly what you're appointed to right now. We then also have the vacancies down below. I can do it one of a couple ways. If you guys want to open this for discussion, I can actually move these vacancies up to whoever's willing to volunteer, or if the mayor would like to nominate, and then we can take a look at it from there. You were also provided, Vice Mayor Perkins was originally not going to be able to make it to this portion of the meeting, so I did print out her recommendations. I can pull that up as well if you would like.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Vice Mayor Perkins put out some suggestions. which the green is the ones that she has selected for herself, if you're looking at that paper. And the purple is her suggestions for the rest. And I would like to know if there's anybody that would like anything changed, different, added. If there's something you want, we're just going to have a little discussion on this. I got to read my thing. This is a discussion item for volunteers. Yeah, we can talk about it. Had to look at my rules over here. So, is the UDO actually going to be a UDO? Is that,
Hi.
Please.
This is a Lori question. Can we ask Lori a question? Are we on?
So at this time,
Uh-huh.
what we can talk about is our active subcommittees,
Okay.
which is UDO is one of the vacancies.
So you're saying no. Just go ahead and say no.
I don't like to say no.
All right. So I'm glad that mine didn't change as far as that goes. That makes me happy. What do we got? Somebody needs to say something.
I'm good where I'm at. I can add League Resolutions Committee, alternate.
Where are you at, Greenhill?
Right in the middle.
Oh,
So he's looking.
you want to move the alternate for League's Resolution Committee over to you? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Okay. Can I borrow your pen?
That's actually your pen.
Thank you. Are you doing these changes up there?
Yep.
She's doing it
so
in
they're
real
right
time.
on your screen.
Mayor.
Right on your.
She's doing it in real time.
Oh, cool.
Councilmember Granillo, the reason I suggested that you be the Chamber of Commerce instead of the alternate is because there's been an absence of presence from council with the chamber.
I'm good with that. I've been on for a little bit.
So instead of an alternate, be the.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's just go down each person. Mine didn't change any. You're taking on the Gamma alternative. You have by Regional Medical Center, Council elective alternative. You're an alternative for everything.
Not true.
Prescott Regional Airport Master Plan Committee, Planning Advisory Committee, impact, and liaison to Fire District Board.
The green or my
Yeah. The only the subcommittee, appointment subcommittee, there's not a hole there, so it's a 3-person thing. So that's
I
not.
knew that was a shot in the dark.
I know, that's not gonna happen. So then, Mr. Kelly, you got UDO report up, or UDO update, Chamber of Commerce alternate, NAMWA alternate, and that's it. Is you good with that?
And how about finance?
Can I make
Oh,
a correction?
finance, I didn't say finance. What?
So as of right now, because we haven't approved this, Councilmember Kelly is technically the Chamber of Commerce, not alternate. So I just want to make it clear that if we want to change that, please let me know that.
That's what I asked him.
Okay.
Boy, these girls are. You okay with that, Cloyce?
Do I have a choice?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was getting along good with the Chamber of Commerce and working well with them.
And then Councilman Granillo, you were his alternate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, then let's leave it the way it was. And then make, Councilman Kelly will be the man and you will be the alternate. Mr. Granillo. Okay. And now it brings us up to you, which is economic development, public safety, your finance, that must be backup. Is that right? Alternate, or is there 2 council on finance?
Are you looking at Vice Mayor Perkins? If the one
I'm
on the
looking at-
screen.
Wrong one.
Yeah, I'm looking at Annie's.
Wrong
Okay,
one.
yeah, let's
That's what I
not.
was doing,
Let's look at the
too.
one that's on the screen because it will show you exactly who's where. Those were just her suggestions.
I didn't think I was
So-
going to make it.
Okay.
So Councilmember Granillo currently is on Economic Development, Public
Yes.
Safety, Water and Utilities, and the Chamber of Commerce alternate.
Okay, that's going to stay the same. League Resolution Committee alternate.
Which is what he just volunteered for as one of the vacancies
Okay.
to fill.
And so then you're on Water and Utilities. Do you not want to be on Water and Utility? Are you okay being on water utility?
I'm okay with that, yes.
Okay, and then did you also want to do, what was the other, finance? Is there 2 people on finance or 1?
Right now, there's currently 2 with a vacancy.
Okay, let's put finance on to Mr. Granillo as well.
Yeah, it can be finance, and if impact needs an alternate, I can do that as well.
Okay, so you good with that?
Impact, I'm sorry, was what? The impact what?
Impact, the Prescott Regional Airport Master Plan Committee, that needs an alternate, I can be an alternate. I don't know if there is.
Where is it?
Am I missing it? So right now we have UDO update as a vacancy, Roads and Streets Committee, Water and Utilities. And then on the entities, the Upper Verde River Watershed, Northern Arizona Municipal Water Association, SIMPO, NACOG, and Gamma. These are the ones that are vacant right now. Did I miss one that you're talking about?
Yes, it's not on there. It's on, I don't think there is an, oh, you're already alternate, Annie, sorry. I didn't see that. My bad. Not trying to take your stuff, Annie. Sorry.
That's all right.
Thanks, Frank. I could do, you're good. Scroll down, please. Northern Arizona Council of Governments, I can do alternate.
Northern Arizona Council of Governments. Is there any discussion on that one? Are we good?
No, is anybody else really excited about that?
I'm excited he took it.
I was gonna say he could be the original guy if he wants. Okay, now can we see Mr. Turner? There we go. So Lon, you got appointment subcommittee chair, UDO update chair, waters and utilities chair. You got a lot of chairs. And then you're the Upper Verde River, and that's all you got. Do you want more?
Well, I heard the little birdie tweak in there about the UDO update.
I'm not gonna say anything about that because I'm not allowed to.
In the future, whether that carries on or whether it does not, who makes that decision?
That will be brought back to council for a council decision, whether it's disbanded or not.
Okay. All right.
Can we go down to the ones that are available? Roads and streets, you're already there.
I would say that at this point, I would be happy to take roads and streets also.
You already are, aren't you?
No.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were there. Oh, that's right. That was Corey.
Yeah, that's
You
the one
were
I took
water.
over from Corey.
Yeah. Do you want that?
Yeah, it's fine with me because it goes hand in hand with Simpo.
He's already
Okay.
on there.
All right, cool. All right, Mr. Armstrong, we lost all of our audience because this is so thrilling.
Ain't it?
That's why I
So,
saved it
Ms.
for last.
Tom, you're on Appointment Subcommittee, Economic Development, Finance, Roads and Streets Committee, SIMPO.
Yep. I'm the chairman of Roads and Streets, and that's the only correction I see to that. I can handle all those, not a problem.
Okay, what about the Upper Verde Valley? We gave that to who?
I'm still on that.
That's Lon.
Those are
Alternate.
alternates.
He's the
We haven't-
alternate, would be the alternate for you.
I don't know. Yeah, we need an
You okay
alternate.
taking that on as being the alternate?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
All righty. All right, then we have John, who has nothing.
I'll take the Coke machine.
Okay, John, according to Annie's thing, did you see anything on there you didn't
No,
wanna
I
do?
mean, wherever there's a spot you need something filled, that's fine with me. I'm not selective at this
Okay,
point.
let's just go ahead and put roads and streets on
So
him.
how she had it laid out is
So-
fine with me too.
We have UDO
UDO.
left and water and utilities for the
That's it?
subcommittee. Mm-hmm.
Where we at?
Now
Right
is your
here.
chance.
Oh,
And
waters
then-
and utilities, he loves that.
And then also UDO.
Yeah, he
update.
loves that one too,
Okay.
doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I'm just
See?
salivating right here. Pavlov.
Can we give him the NACOG main thing? I guess not.
And then these are the 3 alternates that we still have for the entities.
Gamma is already, we gave that to, that should go to to Councilman or Vice Mayor Perkins.
Right.
Simpo alternate.
I'll do the Northern
Okay.
Water. I'll do the Northern Arizona Water alternate. Who's the primary? Is that Lonnie?
Lon,
Okay.
right, Lon?
Yeah, the, well, no, Upper Verde Watershed Protection.
Who's the primary on
Namwa
Namwa? Maybe I am.
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. There I go. Where's it at? Oh, right there. And then how about Simpo back up there, John?
Sure.
All righty.
Who's the primary on that one?
Me,
Okay.
you will attend even as the alternate.
I was
You'll
gonna
be there.
say, you're never gonna miss a
You're
meeting.
gonna get left behind if you're not there. They call you up in the middle of the night and say, want to spend $400,000? Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, are we done?
We can probably go for a motion since
Okay,
this
I'm
is
just
an
asking
action.
you if we're done.
Looks
with
good to me if
everything.
you guys are done.
Can we
Okay,
scroll
let
through?
everybody review.
I was willing to take, where's the, I was gonna take on,
It's right here.
oh, I guess not.
Everybody good with what they got?
I think so.
Yes.
Who's the public safety chair?
Public safety, you are.
Well, no, I volunteered to be, but I wasn't before.
Well, you have been, weren't you before?
You're
I
on
was
there.
economic
Oh,
development.
Mike was.
You're on public safety.
Yeah, but not, chair.
Oh, so you'll do that during your meeting.
But there was 3 of us on public safety. There's only 2 now.
No, there's
Oh,
3.
there's a 3rd one. Never mind. I see it. It sucks getting old.
So we're ready for a motion?
I believe so. You ready, Annie?
I guess, everyone happy with what they got?
Yep.
So,
We can change it later.
okay, make a motion, we approve the council entity and the council subcommittee appointments as discussed this evening.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Turner.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. We're gonna have an executive session next in the council. Don't have to read that like we used to.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, I did
I was
something
really
right.
confused. I'm like, no executive session? I rushed here for nothing.
We denied the, I don't know if you were here. but-
Yep, I
Okay.
watched the whole.
Did you stop it?
Oh, on the,
Like this.
Hey, how would you have voted?
sir?
I was wondering,